Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie. I keep seeing white people go to like them daycares in Minnesota, and I'm confused because nigga, it's the holidays. Do people send their kids to daycare during the holidays? Like, nigga, of course the baby's not there. They at home with their fucking families. What the fuck are we doing? like, do the white people have brains? Like, do white people have like, oh yeah, it is motherfucking New Year's today. Maybe the mama off, and maybe she didn't send her son to fucking daycare today. I don't know. Or are they just like, yeah, there's no kids here. The Somalians are scamming. Of course. Duh. Christmas and New Year's doesn't even matter anymore. So, I don't believe the U.S. strikes tied to Nigeria are really about ISIS or fucking protecting Christians. Because America don't give a fuck about protecting Christians in America. Because that framing has historically been used as cover while the real motive is strategic control over oil, gas, critical minerals, and regional influence, especially as Nigeria deepens economic ties with China and other non-Western blocs under frameworks like BRICS outreach and Belt and Road aligned infrastructure deals. And this is the same pattern used in Iraq, Libya, Venezuela, and Iran, and many other places. Where humanitarian or security language mask intervention driven by resource access, sanctions enforcement, and dominance over global energy routes, even when those actions conflict with UN Charter Article 2.4 on sovereignty and non-aggression, and contradict Trump's no new war claims. So this is all why I don't trust Trump's statements about Nigerians, because U.S. law itself, through tools like the International Religious Freedom Act and post 9/11 AUMF style executive war powers, has repeatedly been used to retroactively legalize force after the fact, not to tell the truth up front. I see this as dangerous for black people worldwide because it normalizes military actions, sanctions, and destabilization against black majority nations under fake moral pretexts. While the long-term outcomes are actually displacement, economic extraction, and weakened sovereignty. Not protection. Not protection. Not protection. Hey folks, listen. I've never understood people that get mad at people for being smarter than them and taking advantage of them for it. Like if you gonna decide to be stupid, you gonna have to be okay with being taken advantage of, because you decided to not properly educate yourself. Just like the motherfuckers that make millions of dollars and they like not know how to properly monitor it. Like, of course I'm gonna steal some of your money just to see how much I can get away with. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how anybody would work. Duh. Like, you hired a financial advisor. Okay, cool. But did you think the financial advisor didn't know how to steal money too? Like, did you think that was above them, past them, or something? What the fuck? No, they're probably the best thieves, actually. Duh, that's what they do for a living, dumbass. So from the Civil War and the Reconstruction onward, white supremacists invented and weaponized racist stereotypes. Like the idea that black people are greasy, lazy welfare queens who only eat watermelon and fried chicken or are inherently criminal. To undermine black agency and justify exclusionary policies. For example, free formerly enslaved people grew and sold watermelons as a path to economic independence. But resentful whites turned that into a character of laziness and childishness in minstrel shows, postcards, and ads, and similarly twisted the popularity of fried chicken. A practical, affordable food rooted in Southern economics into proof of supposed black deficiency. Political rhetoric around welfare queens in the 1970s and media coverage have repeatedly overrepresented black families' use of public assistance compared with whites who actually dominate those percentages. But even though most welfare recipients are white and whites make up a majority of poor people, and this misrepresentation has been used to justify punitive cuts to social programs. Additionally, Statistics show that poverty and crime disparities are tightly linked to structural inequalities, such as residential segregation, underfunded schools, and unequal opportunities for wealth accumulation that stem from centuries and centuries and centuries of discrimination. Rather than any inherent trait, and once you control socioeconomic factors, racial differences in crime rates shrink dramatically, showing that limited access to quality education and economic mobility, not race itself, drives many of the outcomes biggest claim are natural. This pattern lets some white people conveniently claim these truths, truths when it suits them, then ignore the deep historical and systemic roots of inequality when accountability or reform is on the table. All while continuing to benefit from the very institutions that produce the disparities they criticize or claim to criticize. So across U.S. history, ethnic criminal networks functioned as proof of capacity pipelines into legitimate power. Irish gangs fed war politics and police unions through Tammany Hall era patronage. Italian mafia structures were laundered into control of ports, construction, sanitation, and finance. And Jewish syndicates transitioned into garments, unions, and banking, demonstrating coordination, discipline, enforcement, and capital flow that markets and the state ultimately absorbed rather than eradicated. These things all prove that crime was never the point. The capacity was, and once demonstrated, it was normalized through political machines, unionization, regulatory capture, and selective enforcement, while amnesties, plea bargains, and market access quietly converted informal power into formal authority. Black Americans were uniquely denied this absorption phase. Black informal economies were criminalized as existential threats under black codes, Jim Crow, and later the war on drugs. Leadership was neutralized through incarceration or assassination. Examples: COINTELPRO, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, etc., etc. And communities were met with surveillance and disinvestment, like redlining via the FHA, urban renewal, broken GI bills, access, etc., etc., rather than capital, like everybody else. And then the final result, the succession ladder was deliberately cut at the middle rung. You understand? Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Gay people talking about God irritates the fuck out of me. Like, God ain't doing a goddamn thing for your stupid, goofy ass. Fun and great. Like, you sold your soul to the devil a long fucking time ago, lock in, folk, before you piss me off. And this what I mean, folk. Like, you can't let everybody and anybody just pray for you, pray over you, send you words of God. Because whole time, they sending prayers to the devil and don't even know it. Or, like, they ain't praying to no goddamn God. Fun and great. And they ain't getting no goddamn words from God either, cause they acting like that, goddamn it. That shit ain't right neither. That's from the devil. Fun on girl. And I dare one of you motherfuckers to be like, oh, what scripture say that in? I got you. Don't even worry about it. Now, let me give you a real life example for all the stupid motherfuckers in the back. If you decided to be a full blown street nigga, right? No matter how somebody rob you, you can't never call the police. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you decide to be a full-blown fruitcake, punk pussy ass nigga, you can't never be of God or with God. You done already sold your motherfucking soul. That's like a street nigga telling you about the laws. Nigga, you don't know shit about the law, you break them. Nigga, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. Hey, man, the funniest shit is when immigrants come to America and get to talk about, oh, this country is stolen. And yes, your dumb ass is the tool that allows them to steal it. Like, man, bro, I wish history was accessible for everyone. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I hate when I post videos about black history and it puts it on the white side of social media. Like, this is only for niggas. This is only for niggas and wenches. You understand? Like, this is not for them crackers, them pale-faced possums, none of them. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, folks. If you thinking about leaving the house with no deodorant on because you don't stink or you didn't put a lemon on your fucking armpits or some stupid ass shit, I promise, You stink. You smell like ass for them grade. And if you a bad bitch, people just don't want to tell you. But if you was a nigga, put on some fucking deodorant. What are you doing, folks? I don't give no fuck about you on some motherfucking healthy shit. Put that shit on. Figure it out. Actually, have some spray on you or something if you wanted to go that route. But never fucking leave without putting something on your armpits. I don't give no fuck. So claims like Somali people scam, black people scam, Nigerian scam, Indian people scam, all people scam, or blah 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 blah, or similar broad labels are misleading and harmful because they treat crime as if it were an inherent trait of entire peoples or cultures rather than a social outcome shaped by structure, policy, and context. Research in criminology shows that crime is far more strongly linked to structural disadvantage, including poverty, underfunded schools, lack of jobs, and social isolation, rather than to race, nationality, or religion, a concept known as the racial invariance hypothesis. Which finds that structural conditions predict crime similarly across groups when disadvantage is accounted for. Then we have systemic biases in policing and legal systems, such as over policing in disadvantaged neighborhoods and disparities in arrest and sentencing outcomes, documented across countries like the US and the UK, per the Lamy Review showing ethnic disparities in imprisonment rates. Inflate crime statistics for marginalized groups without proving inherent criminality. Historical and ongoing laws and policies like differential sentencing, war on drugs enforcement, and economic disinvestment have concentrated disadvantage in certain communities, contributing to socioeconomic conditions that correlate with higher recorded crime, not because of culture, but because of historic extraction, segregation, and oppression. Reducing crime to sweeping labels about entire peoples ignores decades of evidence that structural inequality and bias and extraction from their own countries of resources they could have depended on, and forced labor in their countries drive disparities in crime and justice outcomes in America. And it diverts attention from the real causes that policy and reform can address. And this isn't just America. I've seen the same issues going on in Europe. I see the same issues going on in Japan. And ironically, the same issues going on in China. And ironically, it's the same cause. Interesting. It's your boy. Go. Okay, don't forgive or don't forget, bitch, I'ma hold a grudge. Why you